Hello everyone! My name is Beefy, and I have a question for you all today. Who here is excited for Disney Pixar's Toy Story 4? Well, I wasn't at first, as I didn't think a story about Woody looking for Bo Peep would be very interesting, especially after the powerful ending of Toy Story 3. Well, unless you want to see something like this for an hour and a half. Now, to celebrate the new Toy Story being released very shortly, I would like to share a story to my friends and family watching, as it is about Woody's origins.
Hi, pal, what you know? You weren't thinking of flying, were you? You know Andy loves toys that can fly. Really? Well then, to infinity and... You know, Andy loves toys that he can find.
No. Also, keep in mind that this is not my story. This is a story that was told by Toy Story writer Joe Rann to toy collector, reviewer, and longtime fan of Toy Story, Mike Mozart, who you may know runs 2 toy channels on YouTube, Jeepers Media and The Toy Channel. They were both having lunch at a cafe called Hidden City, which would also make an appearance in Monsters, Inc. Now, I will leave you a link to Mike Mozart's original livestream where he goes into more detail about this story, as I will probably end up ruining it with my croaky voice and incredibly unfunny jokes, so before I change my mind about making this video, let's get started! So, what if I told you that Andy's father actually looked like the Andy we see in the Toy Story movies? Yep! Those pictures are in fact Andy's father as a kid. It was the year 1957 when Andy found out about a contest where if you send 30 box top of Cowboy Crunchy cereal, they will send you an exclusive pull-string doll of Sheriff Woody from their TV series, Woody's Roundup. The doll was exclusive to the contest, while all the other merchandise was purchasable in store. But why? Well, Woody's Roundup is literally created by a cereal company. However, due to his family being very poor, Andy had only been able to collect 7 in total! But, being the optimist he may have been, he decided to send the 7 box tops he collected anyway, as well as a letter saying how his family were too poor to collect all of the cereal. The letter was vibrant in colour and had more decorative art than you can ever imagine. Shortly after that happened, guess what else happened around this exact same time that became a very big deal? That's right! Sputnik went up, and as a result, people became a lot more interested in space and astronauts. And as a result of that,
Children only wanted to play with space toys.
As for that one Sheriff Woody prototype doll that was featured in the commercials of the contest, well, that actually managed to find a new home. That's right.
The trash!
Wait, hang on. It turned out the secretary at Cowboy Crunchies decided to fish out the prototype Woody doll, as she felt the kids would be disappointed. Now, why would the kids be disappointed, you may ask? Well, the fellow employees of Cowboy Crunchies decided to send every kid who entered the contest a
Space toy.
And all I have to say to that is that if we saw Al from Al's Toy Barn's reaction to getting a space toy, it would have been pretty hilarious. Since the rest of the employees want to send space toys to all the winners, the secretary decided to send the prototype Woody doll to Andy. Shortly after, Andy got sick with a disease called polio, and he had to get treated to a special hospital. Before he went, he decided to store all his toys in a trunk and hide them in the attic, as they would have been forced to be burned. Okay, we don't need to see that. Long story short, Andy got the treatment he needed, met his wife after moving to Seattle, had a son called Andy, and was expecting a daughter. Around this time, Andy's father ended up with a condition known as PPS, polio syndrome. Look it up online if you want more information on this. Long story short, Andy Jr. was saddened by his father's condition, but he told his son to go up to the attic and he will find a trunk that has been waiting for him for years. He runs upstairs, brings the trunk down, but before he manages to open it, he realizes the sad truth. His father had passed away. Sometime later, Andy Jr. finally opened the trunk to have found a cowboy hat, as well as Slinky Dog, Mr. Potato Head, and Sheriff Woody. Woody instantly became Andy's favourite toy, as it was such a big part of his father's childhood. Andy saw Woody as some sort of symbol of him. And that is when the events of Toy Story 1 begins. Now, this was a very interesting story, and I advise you to check out Mike Mozart's original live stream as he goes into further detail on this. And it would be a fantastic story to at least bring up at some point in Toy Story 4, if possible. But sadly, since this story was never told to anybody else, fellow Pixar writer Andrew Stanton publicly denied this story on Twitter. Whether the story is real or not doesn't matter, to be honest, as I think this story could work regardless. Maybe it could be made as a Pixar short film in the future? Just a suggestion. But regardless, this is possibly the closest to a Toy Story prequel we will ever get. Now, before I go, I would like to give some memoriam to the late Joe Rann for being part of a wonderful team over at Pixar, and I would also like to thank Mike Mozart for sharing this truly amazing and very personal story to the public. And finally, I would like to thank you lot for watching. And here is to Toy Story 4. Toodles! I would also like to mention that Joe Rann explained to Mike that as a writer, you can't know where you're going unless you know where you've been, a line that would later be spoken by Mater from Cars, who, to be honest, didn't know where he was going in the sequel. Thanks for watching.